Spirit of Grace Church in West Bloomfield Township will celebrate its 10th anniversary on Tuesday, May 6th, with a special worship service followed by a reception featuring some light refreshments. And here to tell us more about this very special milestone from Spirit of Grace Church, joining me right here live on The Splash is Pastor Joyce Partyka Staib. Thank you so much for being here, Pastor.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate that. Congratulations on 10 years, a decade, right here in West Bloomfield. Let's just talk about that first and foremost. How has Spirit of Grace evolved over the past decade?
So Spirit of Grace is a Lutheran Episcopal community. So when it first formed, it was two Lutheran congregations, Sylvan Lake Lutheran, and that's the building that it still resides in today. And then Ascension Lutheran came over, and then Advent Episcopal Church was worshiping in the space, and they decided to have worship together over one summer. And they really loved worshiping together, and so they decided to be one community. So really, it's been about combining and finding out who we are as a Lutheran Episcopal community.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that speaks highly of the collaboration too. And like we were just saying, Spirit of Grace stands as a model for interdenominational collaboration, showing how shared faith and mutual respect can bridge traditional divides. And like I said, with me right here live on The Splash from Spirit of Grace, Pastor Joyce Partyka Staib, also being joined by Senior Warden Jocie Ballmann. Thank you both for being here again. And just continuing on with you, Pastor, what milestones stand out most vividly to you as a pastor?
So I've only been with the congregation for 2 years now, so Jocie can actually speak better to that.
Perfect. Yes, Jocie, please.
So milestones for our little church in West Bloomfield would be how big our small church is in the community. We are so involved in food ministries, whether it's through our diabetic food pantry, our blessing box, our Christmas dinners. We do it all. So it's a big task, and we manage to make it all work.
Okay, it sounds beautiful. And I've heard about some of the food ministries as well. Love to hear about it. So continuing on with you, Jocie, in what ways does the church involve young people in its mission and activities?
Sure. So our parking lot is a school of choice parking lot. And so the West Bloomfield School District uses it for kids that are coming in to go to school. And the buses come there. And we have over 300 students come to our church every day for bus pickup. We utilize that time to engage them in activities. We give them treats, let them know what's going on in the church. We are an elderly church, but we try to get the kids involved in everything that we have to offer. We also work with the schools, West Bloomfield schools, for food drives, so the kids are involved in helping us with that. And then we have some young members at the church that are going through confirmation classes, and it's multi-generational at our church. Everybody's a kid at heart, right. And we all work together.
Love that. And that's what it's supposed to be, working together for the bigger picture, collaborating, blending together, and just doing great things for the greater good. We love to hear that.
Absolutely.
Now, Pastor, reaching back to you, just curious, you mentioned the blending of two denominations or two traditions, if I'm understanding that. What challenges and or successes have arisen from blending these true traditions within a single congregation?
I think the joy of blending these two traditions into a service and into a community is that each community brings a special thing. So some of the challenges have been that each community does things differently, but it's also given us a great opportunity to talk about how we see God working through our community, through our congregation members, and through the people who enter the doors of the church, because quite frankly, not everybody who participates in things is a member of the congregation. Right. And so we've really been able to talk about how God shows up and how God is present in what is happening. And I think that has been both the biggest challenge and the biggest joy about it, is we get to talk about what it's like for us. And we get to have those conversations about how God is showing up and in what ways we want to express that through what we do.
One thing I want you to speak on, just continuing with you real quick, Pastor. I'm aware of some of the things that you all do, but one thing that I love is when a church is actually doing things that impacts and affects the community in a positive way. So can you share examples of how Spirit of Grace's community service initiatives, some of the food ministries and things that you all do have addressed local needs?
So we have a stretch and tone class that meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that brings people from the community just to get a little bit of exercise. Most of it is chair or chair oriented, and so people are able to do that. And I think what that does is that brings a sense of community to people. It gathers people in a way that other things don't, and I think it gives people a chance just to get that exercise that they're looking for in a comfortable way. We have quilters that meet in our church once a week.
Yep.
Last year, they donated, I think it was like 150, 160 quilts, and those went all over the world to places that needed them. And I will say most of those people who do that are not members of the church, and so anyone is welcome to that. Our diabetic food pantry is on the third Saturday of every month, and we have several volunteers who come to that. Again, not all who are members of Spirit of Grace. And what I really love about that opportunity is we've had Girl Scout troops come. We've had sports communities come who are looking for service projects hours. We've had high school students who are looking for service project hours. And so that's really been something that has not only gathered the community to volunteer, but has also fed people. We have a blessing box that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't even have to come into the church building to get it. And really what that is we rely on a lot of donations, but there are also some people who just drop off food because that's a place to drop it off. And so again, we've had high school students, and even my son, who is 4 years old, helps stock that on a semi-regular basis. And so that's really a way that we've met that need, not only for volunteering, but also for feeding the community. And we have Girl Scout troops that meet there. AA meets at the congregation. Al-Anon, and I believe Alateen has started to meet there as well. So really, this is a community building that we want the community to use.
Beautiful. First and foremost, I love that you hit on all the things that we've spoke on in previous interviews, and I wanted the community to know that in its full scope, that you all do a lot right here in the community with a lot considered for the different residents and their needs. So I appreciate you for doing that and explaining that. With me right here live on the Splash, by the way, from Spirit of Grace Church, Pastor Joyce Partyka Staib and Senior Warden Jocie Ballmann, talking about the 10-year anniversary celebration in May of 2025. Now, Jocie, going to you real quick, I have to ask you, in what ways do you plan to honor the founders and early members of those who made this vision of Spirit of Grace possible?
It's a good question. And when I was thinking about it, I had to go back and think there's still a lot of founders that participate and are members of the church. Some have moved away. Unfortunately, some have passed. But I think that we will honor them in the celebration coming up in a couple weeks by just remembering the work that we did to bring all three churches together, and continue to do that and constantly invite them back to come and see us, those that have moved away and whatnot. So we will continue to honor those founders.
Yes, good and well said as well. And we don't want to hold you all up too much longer. We appreciate your time. But one last question I want both of you to kind of answer, starting with you, Jocie, if you don't mind. As you celebrate this 10th anniversary, 10 years, a decade, what hopes and aspirations do you have for Spirit of Grace's next decade of ministry?
Again, thinking about that question, I am looking forward to the next 10 years so that we can continue to bring to the community all that they need and whatever that is and how we can make it work for them, whether it's food or a place to have a meeting, whatever that may look like. I'm looking forward to Spirit of Grace being able to be that place.
Perfect. And you, Pastor?
I think for me, church anniversaries are a lot like driving. We have to know where we've been and what we've been through to understand where we're going. And I think the first and foremost thing is to be rooted into the love of God that we have been given and that we so much want to share with a world who seems to need it so badly. And so I'm looking forward to just continuing to use the gifts and talents that each of the congregation members and community members bring to this space to move us forward into what will hopefully be the next 10 years.
That was beautifully said. You see how the pastor couldn't leave us without dropping some bars. The church is like the car, and knowing where. I can't say it like you said it, Pastor. That's why we love to have you. We want to thank you both so much, and congratulations again on 10 years in the community. Once again, Spirit of Grace Church Pastor Joyce Partyka Staib and Senior Warden Jocie Ballmann. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.